Marketers really need to start focusing on attention as a metric, because an impression or an exposure unseen, unviewed, unimpacted does nothing for business. So if we're not moving consumers, if we are not knowing that they have actually engaged with or digested our message, it's not going to change business.
I love this concept of digesting a message. So it's like, what does attention mean, really, right?
Right.
So it sort of begs the question, when you think about kind of defining attention, you need to be able to understand the concept, measure it, and then activate it on it. So like, what sort of steps are you taking in this journey of measuring a thing called attention and then taking action on it?
Yeah, well, I think we need to understand what's important to the business and what is important to the brand, right? So understanding what behaviors are we trying to change, what impact are we trying to have on consumer, and tying that back to a form of attention, which can be a pretty broad thing. And I think we're still understanding and defining what elements of attention we're really trying to unpack. And then, of course, finding ways to quantify that in a consistent and scalable way.
How do you take something like that and make it actionable? Like, are you starting to interact with partners on attention as a metric? Are you experimenting with that?
We can't do it by ourselves, right? This is where I really see the interesting, the ecosystem of our world, between partners, between measurement, between agencies, between clients, and coming up with consistent language, metrics, KPIs, identifiers, a common language and a common currency that we can work towards together. So this is the culmination of collaboration, like I think we've never seen, really putting all our money in a single currency.
Interesting. Currencies are very, it's a
loaded
hot word right now, and it's a little bit loaded. Yeah. Okay, so let's switch gears slightly and think kind of even bigger and more broadly here. What opportunity do you think brands have to reach consumers on new and emerging platforms?
So I think new and emerging platforms is interesting. I don't even know if they're new and emerging, right? I think they're different variations and iterations of what we've had. I think technology is pushing us into new spaces, into new formats. But what I think is really exciting also is reinventing existing formats, because that's really what we make new. We talk about all the time, right? What's really new again? So right now I'm really excited and interested again in out of home and in audio. I think as consumers are emerging again, it's really, there are interesting ways that we can catch attention, both from an audio and visual perspective. And I'm really bullish about those formats. I think you're seeing a lot of it in the palette. I think you're starting to see a lot of it in, I think that's where creativity is really coming to light, is taking what exists and making it new again, as opposed to using what I would call a new tech or format, maybe gimmick. So I love where that's going.
There's a lot of gimmick out there.
A lot of gimmick out there, yeah.
So let's hone in on one sort of specific, really interesting area, which is gaming. So gaming's proven to be a high attention earning space, which I love, right? Because players are immersed in their virtual realities, and you really need to find ways to connect with them. So how's the agency and how are your clients thinking about gaming as an opportunity?
Yeah. We think gaming's really interesting as well. It is scalable as we think about these new spaces, and we are seeing the volume of consumers there and new consumers coming in there, especially younger generations, which are very important as we're seeing some former customer bases age out. At dentsu, we think about experiences beyond exposures, and gaming is a really interesting space to do that. Why? Because we can create a value exchange by hacking the gaming spaces, right? We're giving them something back for their attention, and that's really a nice sweet spot. So we love that gaming really is a way that we can bring to life this notion of experience.